Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the section 2 of the part 2 series of building a dictionary website. In section 1 of the part 2 episode, we talked about handling form requests using jQuery AJAX, and we'll be concluding that section today. So how many of you noticed that I have a new interface? I'm using this new theme from GitHub on my VS Code Studio. You can download it from the extensions, this section over here. Alright, then if you notice, I increased my font size because I noticed the last one was quite small and unreadable. So guys, let's jump in to what we have for today. So guys, today we're going to be doing the main thing, and which is sending our request to a file or to a document in our project where we'll be handling that request and we'll be processing it using PHP. And we are going to be sending it through AJAX. So guys, the first thing I want to do is to create, I'm going to type in AJAX like this, $, and type AJAX. Alright, or instead we can just type the shortcut so we can generate the snippet to say jQuery AJAX. So you can see. So for those of you that don't understand what is going on, so please do refer to section 1 of this tutorial, or if you have missed any video, do refer back to the previous series and you'll be able to follow along. So just type in jQuery AJAX and it's going to generate this snippet for you. So all we need to do is just to edit this to our preference. And the first thing we're going to do is to select the method. What method are we going to be using, right? So I'm going to hold down Ctrl B and come over to index.php here. So you can see this is our form, right? So the method here is post. So we're going to be using a post method, right? Okay. And also, even if we don't declare here as post, even if we take away this, we're still going to, you can still assign the post method there and it's still going to work. All right. So we can just come here and say, okay, post. So since we're using AJAX to submit it, we don't need to actually declare it on the form here. Alright, so the URL, we are going to create a folder that's that file, that particular file that's going to be handling all the operations. So we can call it operations.php. So the operations.php file is going to be handling all the old requests we get from the user input through AJAX. Then we'll handle it and process a response and send it back to AJAX, which in turn displays it for us. So we'll see how that works now. So I'm just going to create a folder and call it let's call it operations, or let's just call it functions. Okay, so I'll say functions and I'll say create a file called operation or process. Yes, process.php. So this is the file that is going to be handling all the process. All right, so I'm going to show AJAX where to look to get this process.php. So the process.php is inside functions, right? So I'm just going to type functions, then / process.php, and that's it. All right. So the data. So this data means what are we going to be sending? What are we going to be sending to this process.php file? What are we going to be sending to this place? So let's indicate what data we're going to be sending. All right, so I'm just going to open a parenthesis, just one actually, and let me close this. All right, so before I do that, let's get back to our index.php file, and when you get to the inputs, you can see the name is called what? Word search, right? We assign a name to it called word search. And if you don't know how to assign a name, you type name and equals to, then your quotes or quotation marks, and that's it, and give it whatever name you want. You can say. So that's how I was able to assign this name. So this name is just like normal naming now. Yeah. All right, so the name of this input is what? Word search. So I'm going to take this word search and come over to our dictionary.js. So guys, in this parenthesis, we are going to be giving it that name. We're going to get a quotation mark and say word search. I've copied it, right? Then a colon, and what's that word search? Now this word search is the name, right? Remember, we came here to assign the name for this input and we called it word search, and now we're grabbing that name and we are saying, okay, now assign assign this search now, whatever we get, the value of this search, right? Remember, it has an ID. Why do I keep going to the process page? Okay, let me just drag this over here. So it's going to be closer to the file I'm working with. So remember, it has an ID of search, right? And we're able to grab, in our last series, we're able to grab the value of that search and assign it to a variable, right? So we're able to get to check if it's empty or not. So now we're going to, since we have gotten the value of this search, right? We have gotten the value. So if the person type ESD, we're going to get the value of, whatever I type in this input, right? So we've got the value and we assigned it to search. So now we are going to assign this search to this name here, over here. As simple as this. So meaning what search, which is the name of this, what search, which is the name of this input, is equals to the value we assigned to this search variable. All right, guys. So it's as easy as that, and that's going to serve as the data. So this is our data we're going to be sending. So for the data type, you can type in JSON or you can type in I think HTML, but we're not going to be using any of these two. We'll just take away the data type. All right. So now for the success, it's going to pass a response. It's going to give us a response if it works. So for the error, let's type something for the error. What should happen if our request doesn't go through? So we're just going to say function. All right. So now this function, we're not going to have any name. All right, and we're not going to pass anything inside the function. Okay, so what we're going to just do is just to alert something. And what should we alert? So let's alert something went wrong. Okay, say something went wrong. Please try again. Please try again. All right. Okay, this is what is going to happen whenever there's an error in processing this request. Okay, but if there's a success, it's going to alert the response. Whatever we get in this process.php file is going to alert it to us. You're going to see that in a moment. All right, so now I'm going to save this document, and for now you can see if we refresh, nothing is really going to happen here because we have not done anything special. You can see nothing is going to happen. But now let's see whether we are on the wrong track or on the right track. So guys, let's head to our process.php file. Remember, it's going to be handling all our processes, right? Whatever we get from AJAX. So let's go there to, start building some things and getting those requests, and let's see what we can do with them. All right. So first of all, what I want to do is to actually pass in an action and say call the action equals to search. And in a moment, you're going to see what we're going to do that for. All right. So I'm going to set an action equals to search. So in this process.php, it's just like, passing a data into the URL, and I'm going to grab it using the get, method in our process.php file. So now let's get to our process.php file. Remember, I've sent this data, right? The word search, whatever the user, search, or whatever input the user makes, we are sending it now to the process.php file. So in the process.php file, I'm just going to, open my PHP tags and make sure I close it too. All right. So if you like, you can close it. If you like, you can open it. Remember, this is going to be a pure PHP file, so I don't actually need to close it. All right, and I'm going to save this and make sure this is saved too. All right, nice. So now I'm going to check if there's a method, right? I'm going to check if there's a method, a get method called action. Then after that, I'll switch through it. Now let's see what that is. So I'll say if is set. In PHP, you say if is set. That's say if a method is set, or if something is set. That's when you use the is set method. So we say if is set, there's a get method, right? There's a get method of action, right? So most of you that is following me, please don't get confused. What I'm just trying to say is that if there's an action, this action, right? Remember we said the action equals to search. So what I'm just trying to say, if this action has been set, from the AJAX, if it's been set, that's why I said if it's set, there's a get action, right? What should we do? So I'm just going to open my parenthesis and say, okay, if it's set a get action, now I want to switch through that get action, right? So yes, I want to switch through all the O action, okay? Because in another request, I can decide to set another action and say, let's say action equals to post, action equals to delete or something. But for now, this action is equals to search, right? So now I'm going to switch through it and use type my switch case and say switch. So that's one thing about using, VS Code Studio. It has a lot of extension that, generate snippets that I don't even need to start thinking of typing codes one by one, and going through all those active process. So you can see once I just type switch, it generates the code for me. You can see and look at it, see the switch block, PHP basics. So I'm actually able to do this because I have a PHP IntelliSense, yes, a PHP IntelliSense extension on my VS Code Studio. So for those of you that don't know it, come over here and you can see, just type PHP IntelliSense. I think, yeah, PHP IntelliSense. Actually, I don't have internet connection, but let's check our installed our installed extensions, and you'll see PHP IntelliSense. So look at it here, PHP IntelliSense. I also downloaded PHP IntelliSense too. So combined with this, I get my source codes and snippets, so without having me typing out all those things one by one. All right, guys, so switch variable. Now what are we switching? Now I want to switch this get action, right? I'm going to switch through whatever is in the get action. Now I'm going to just copy and paste. So now why am I switching that? Just in case there's another action that says, okay, equals to delete or equals to update, or something else, we are going to switch through whatever we get from here. Then if it matches with whatever case you give here, then we should do something with it. We are going to set a case of search to it now. So this is it, case of search. Now since we are switching through the action, so we are now saying now, okay, once you switch through this action, after you have gotten the action, you switch through it. If the action is equals to search, then it should run all the code block that it's inside this case. So now, for example, now if we have another case of, let's say, delete, let's say case, and let's call it delete. Okay, so if it switches through this action and it gets a case, let's say we set an action here equals to delete, right? So now it should come over here. It will ignore the search, it ignore the first one, because from here now you can see the action is equals to delete, and it will move straight to the case where the case is equals to delete. So that's what this whole thing means. So but for now, I'm just going to undo that and we'll leave it as search because it's actually search we want. Okay, so I'm just going to come over here and say, okay, when it gets to search, it switches through the get method and discover that action is equals to search, then it's going to run through these codes over here and it's going to perform whatever we initialize here. All right, so guys, that is it. So guys, we'll be stopping here for today. In our next episode, we'll be learning how to fetch data from our API using the input request from the user in our process.php file. I didn't want this video to be so long, so I'll be stopping here for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more contents. See you in the next episode. Bye.